my god, who's ready for a Julie and the Phantoms challenge video? Guys, I'm so excited because today is the first day of Because We Can, and it's the first creative challenge, and there was no question that I was going to do a video for Julie and the Phantoms because it is one of my favourite shows of all time. I'm still so mad it hasn't been renewed. Like, I don't understand how they couldn't renew this show when it is one of the best things I've ever seen in my whole entire life, and every other show gets renewed after 2 seconds, but Julie and the Phantoms is just sitting there, and I'm feeling that I'm going towards the side of that they cancelled it, but they're just not telling anyone, but I don't want them to cancel it. And I'm so lucky I brought my Sunset Curve t-shirt with me because I have limited clothing that I was able to bring, because I could bring one suitcase and one duffel bag, and my suitcase is pretty much all jumpers, but it's so hot here. Like, it is still like winter slash spring for like most people in this area, and they all think it's really cold, but I come from -10-degree weather, so this is not cold to me. I'm fine being in a t-shirt, I'm fine chilling, and I'm not keen for when it actually gets really, really warm. But today's video is all themed around Julie and the Phantoms, and the video prompt was to make a music video, which I'm not gonna do because there's issues with copyright on YouTube, so that's why I never have music unless I'm using music that I know is already pre-approved. So I'm not doing a music video. There may be a TikTok because I am pre-filming this video, so I may make a TikTok of music, but I'll have to see if I end up doing it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm going to match a Julie and the Phantoms song with a book character slash book, and I'm very keen. So this is all my own opinion, and I just felt like these characters embody the song's meaning but also could totally sing it and do a good job, and I'm excited for this video. Okay, the first song in Julie and the Phantoms is Now or Never, and for me this has always been like a very upbeat song. It's obviously about, you know, living in the moment, experiencing life like you know it's kind of gonna end, and knowing that like what you does is gonna make a difference. And the characters that came to mind when I thought of this book was Citra and Rowan from the Skype series by Neil Shusterman. So this is ironic because they can't die, because if they die they just get brought back to life, so that is kind of a void point there. But I do feel that with Citra and Rowan, they are living like it's their last lives, because if they get captured they're gonna get killed. Like, they're gonna get cold, they're gonna get gleaned, they're not gonna live anymore, and they are trying to make a difference. And even though Rowan and Citra have very different like ideals and feelings of how they want to do stuff in the world and how they want it to change, they are still both on the good side of things. But I definitely feel like they could embody this song because that's what they are doing. They're living like it is now or never, because there's so much bad shit going on, but they're gonna deal with it, and they're gonna win, and they're gonna fight, and they're gonna figure stuff out. And I just feel that this song is totally there. The next song on the soundtrack is Wake Up, and it is one of my favorite songs. It is such a beautiful song, and it's such a nice tune, and like when you sing it you just feel like so strong. With this song, Julie's mum died a year prior, and she hasn't played music or sung music since. And with the boys coming back into her life, she suddenly has music back in her life, and she sings this song that her mum wrote her before she died, and it's called Wake Up, and it's just about like doing what you love, going out there, like not holding back. And for me, the character that I think of is Aylin, and I'm thinking Aylin, not Selena. I think this is a perfect bridge of Selena to Aylin, and I do really think as well of like, you know, her coming into her magical side and her coming into leading and finding her friendships and everything. When she was Selena, she was very limited, and it was because something really bad happened in her past that she didn't want to fight and didn't want to do anything, and she wanted to hide who she truly is. And this is how I feel that Selena and Julie are very similar in this situation, and I just love this. Like, it's such a good song, and I definitely think this comparison is a good one. Now for This Band Is Back, obviously it's a really sweet song where Luke, Reggie and Alex are singing together because they haven't sung together for 25 years, and they're saying that they're back and they're happy. And for me, the way that I perceive this song is really random. So you know how like in the book community it's becoming a trend where a trilogy ended like 10 years ago, but then they're bringing out a new trilogy or a new standalone, or they're just continuing the series. I am picking something based on that fact, and I'm actually going to pick The Box in the Woods by Maureen Johnson. So this wasn't 10 years apart, it was only a year apart, but I really did think the trilogy was over and done, and that was all I was going to see of the characters. So when I found out there was going to be another book where it was bringing everyone back, everyone was doing another case together, we had our core group back together, this is what made me happy, and it's the thing that I thought of when I thought of this song, because I was just like, yeah, there is a lot of times when characters reunite and they have a really big moment and a really fun time, but I'm actually thinking more of my pure enjoyment here of being so happy that these characters are back in their little band, and it's so adorable. Okay, next we had Bright, and I just think of Juliet from the Shadow Me series. This is another one where you're so shut up inside and you're just trying to keep to yourself. Like, the words of this song just really resonated with me, and I really do love Bright, but I just feel that same as Juliet, you know, she was in prison at the start of the book, and then she really started to come out of her shell over the series, and even though she had to go through dealing with Adam, and then she was able to be with Warner, like, you know, she was becoming something more, and she was discovering herself and her powers, and discovering herself as a leader, and discovering who she was and where she fits in society. The message of so many songs from Julie and the Fandoms is to put yourself out there, and even though you don't know what's going to happen, you've made that step. So this is like Selena, Aylin, Citra, like, they're all very similar vibes of, you know, this is the main thing, is people live in poverty or live in something bad and then they find something good by the end of their series. So it's kind of the main plot of a lot of books, but these are the characters that I feel really embody these songs. Now for Wow, this is actually my least favorite song, but this is the funny thing because I love all the songs, so even my least favorites are still bangers. We Carry songs are all about saying, wow, look at me, I'm amazing, keep your eyes on me, I'm amazing, I'm wow. So this is the vibe that she brings out. So for Wow, I really want to talk about Baz from Carry On, because he is someone that just oozes charisma. Just for the fact that he wears that suit with all the flower designs on it and Wayward Sun just oozes wow. And I just feel like he is uptight, he is preppy, he is full of himself, but he's an amazing character. He's such a lovable goofball. And Simon loves him so much too, but he's so shocked that this amazing dude would love him. And I just do think, like, you could just, like, sum up Baz by just saying wow. Okay, the next song is Flying Solo, and this is a lovely song that's about friendship and being there for each other. And the friendship I want to highlight here is Bryce and Danica. Like, this has become my #1 top friendship because it is so beautiful, and it is a friendship that we see beyond death, and it just goes to show how strong the bonds are between these two girls and the lives that they live and how different they are, but they are just always there for each other. And Danica's death is such a big and impactful thing to Bryce that she doesn't feel that she can go on, and she's just living like a shell of a life, but their friendship is just so important to me. And I do hope that in the second book they're still going to have elements of the friendship, because as I said, like, the first book was such a book of healing, but like there's a lot of stuff that's going to go wrong in this world that I'm like, like, it's gonna be a killer, but I'm also so excited for it. The next song I'm gonna be talking about is I've Got the Music, which is such a beautiful little song that Julie sings about how she's happy that she's got music in her life again. And I'm gonna mention Simon from the Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare, because for one, he is a musician and he always loves music, and music has helped him through so many different things. But something happens at the end of the books, and then music is a way that helps him find himself again, and then he has to discover who he wants to be as certain something. Like, I feel like I'm trying not to spoil, but like there's a point where it's like he kind of has to do training to be a shadow hunter, and he has to find himself, and like this is basically Tales of the Shadowhunter Academy as well, because he's got to discover who he is and who he wants to be and who he wants to be with Isabel and who he wants to be as himself, and everything there is beautiful. But I definitely think because he's so full of music and he loves his band and he loves everything, I just really resonate Simon with this song. Like, I think it's like no one else could do this song but Simon. Okay, the next song is The Other Side of Hollywood, and this introduces us to Caleb, and it's giving us like the high life of Hollywood, and everything's amazing, and if you're a ghost and you want to join his club, you're gonna be living the high life. And for some reason, I just picture Magnus Bane when I look at this song. Like, couldn't you imagine the number Magnus could do? There'd be glitter, there'd be flying, there'd be fire, there'd be a dazzling suit, and he'd be like doing the full like pop and locking, like dancing like the old days, and I would love to see it. No, Magnus is not a villain, and this song doesn't really make Caleb the villain. It's his next song that's more of a villain song, but this song is beautiful and I love it so much, and it's so like upbeat, and you're like bam 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 bam. Magnus Bane would do this so well. Now, number 9 is All Eyes on Me. So as I said with Carrie's song, that's very much about focusing on herself and people looking at her and thinking she's beautiful and amazing and wonderful. I actually want to say Alessandra from The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller for this one, because her main objective is getting the Shadow King to fall in love with her so she can kill him. So she has to be inviting, she has to be lovely, she has to have that chemistry that he's gonna fall in love with. And she does captivate him literally from the first second he sees her, because she comes in with a dress unlike anyone else, she doesn't even talk to him, and she just oozes that charismatic times, and everyone in the court's looking at her, the king is looking at her, and she's just got that vibe. She could totally sing this song in the middle of the court and no one would even think anything of it. They'd be like, damn, she's amazing. The next song is Finally Free, and I feel like this is such an underrated banger. I know a lot of people say all the songs are amazing, but I just feel like Finally Free doesn't get the recognition it deserves. It is such an amazing song. And for this song, it does give you the vibe of, you know, I'm finally free, I'm finally singing, I'm finally doing what I want to do with my life, and I am thinking of Sydney and Adrian from the Bloodline series by Rochelle Mead, because they have to go through so much stuff, and they have so much stuff weighing them down and things that are stopping them from being together, and then by the end of the series, they're finally free. So I just feel like it's a wonderful song. And like, I mean, I did analyze a lot of the lyrics and stuff and for these characters, and some of them I just was like, bam, instantly the song makes sense for them, and some I went into more depth, but like literally just the title Finally Free. But when you do sing the song, and it's so beautiful, and like, because you know in the song there's that moment between Julie and Luke when they're like singing together, like Adrian and Sydney could so do that, and I'd be like, so good. Okay, perfect harmony, it's Favour and Reese. I don't care, I didn't even have to think about this for a second. This is a beautiful love song about two people that want to be together, and with Julie and Luke it's kind of impossible because he's a ghost and she's alive. But hopefully, if we got another season, we would know what was going to happen, but we don't know right now. But Favour and Reese go through so much stuff together, and like they have such a beautiful relationship. They are my favourite couple. They literally are such a well-rounded couple, and they balance each other out so much, and like they just fit together like such a intense jigsaw puzzle of love. But like this song, I've always pictured them when I sing this song. Like the perfect harmony is literally like any OTP could fit this song, but like I love it. Now for Edge of Great, this is actually my #1 favorite song. It's so beautiful, and like the angst of Julie and Luke in the background of this song, like so good. But with this one, like when they're standing on the edge of great and saying that like they know again something good's happening, for me I thought this song fit like Emma and Julian from The Dark Artifices by Cassandra Clare, because they are standing on the edge of great because their parabatai bond is keeping them from going over the edge, you know. So like they are stuck where they are, but they know that their love story and their romance and their lives together are going to be amazing, but they can't do it because it's impossible. So this is technically not exactly the theme of the song, because they say we're on the edge of something amazing happening. Maybe this doesn't fit as well as I thought, but like a lot of the lyrics I feel really vibe for these characters as well, because I've been through so much hardship and they're just waiting for that point where they can be together, they can be in love, and it's a long journey. And then we have Unsaid Emily, which is hands down the saddest song on the whole entire show, but it is a beautiful song. But it's about Luke feeling such regret for not being able to say goodbye to his mother and not being able to talk to her again, and making decisions that kind of ruin the rest of his life in a sense, like not being able to have his mum, not being able to have his family, not being able to apologize for things. And for me, this song could be about any kind of bad mistake or any decision that a character has made, but I actually want to talk about Heartless by Marissa Meyer as a whole, because there is a decision that the main character, whose name I can't remember right now, I know she's like the Red Queen lady, but she makes a decision that she was warned against and then literally F's up everything in her whole entire life, and then has the villain origin story. So there is one moment where she chooses to do something and then it just all rolls out and every bad thing that she could imagine happened. And I feel the same vibes of like Luke is so sorry for what he did, and I feel like she was sorry, but then she also embraced it by the end of it. So that's the only time when it's a little bit different. But I just couldn't think of anything for Unsaid Emily, because there is things that characters have done, but I don't really want to like fully be like, oh, they killed this person and that's a bad thing happened. So I felt like this was a better one to just talk about a book that just makes me give the vibes of this song. Now for You've Got Nothing to Lose, this is the other Caleb song, and this is the one that feels like very villainy. My favorite part though was when they all come out and they do a little bit of a rift, like Alex comes out with drums and Reggie comes out, then Luke comes out, and it's an awesome scene and I really love that. But I'm just gonna say the Darkling, because I feel like this is his model when he's talking to Alina, because she literally has nothing to lose. Like she's got no life, she's got nothing going on, and she could just choose to be with the Darkling for like the rest of time and just be like, you've got nothing to lose, bruh, we're gonna have an awesome life together. But she's like, no. So she also embodies the boys in this song, because they're getting stuck playing and they don't want to play and they're just like, oh. But I just think, yeah, this Darkling could totally do the song. Like he could sing this to Alina and she'd be like, shit. And the last song is Stand Tall, and this was another beautiful song because I was kind of unsure if the Ghost Boys were going to come back, and we were getting a bit stressed out about everything, and Julie had to go on stage and sing by herself, which she hadn't been able to do before, but she managed to do it. And it is about, you know, even if you're by yourself, you want to stand tall. You want to fight against bad things. You want to be the one that stands there in front of everyone and show that you're brave. And for me, it makes me think of Alex and Henry from Red, White and Royal Blue, because obviously it's a bit weird for the president's son and the Prince of Wales to be in a relationship, so they've had to keep it secret, and it was such a beautiful relationship to see develop. But like every book that you hide a relationship, you know it's going to erupt in such a devastating way and everyone's going to be so upset about it. But I just appreciated how Alex and Henry were able to stand tall within their relationship and were able to fight for what they believed in. And even though there was times when Henry felt like it wasn't going to work, or Alex felt like it wasn't going to work, which can also go with the bits where Luke is like flashing in and out in that scene, I think that ultimately they were able to fight, they were able to do what they wanted, and people were behind them and people wanted them to be happy. And it's just such a beautiful book and a beautiful song, and it's one of those ones, like every time I watch this scene I cry. I used to not cry, I used to cry in Unsaid Emily, but now I start crying in Stand Tall, because it's like I cried in the sad bit and now I cry in the happy bit, because that's just what I do. So guys, that is all for today's creative challenge. I know this is going to be a long one because I went into depth about my feelings on each song. I feel like if I didn't explain it, some of them people would be like, maybe? So at least hopefully you agree with my picks. But this was such a fun video to film. I hope you enjoyed, and I guess I'll see you guys for the next creative challenge. Bye!